It's me. I am a god, dull creature.
Maybe I am a monster, and not what you are, and not what you intended.
Hello everyone, it's me Akip here. Back to another video. In this video I'm going to talk about a topic that's been on my mind during the month of February. No, I'm not talking about what's happening right now in Ukraine, which I might talk about in another video. No, today we're going to talk about the updated FIFA rankings that were released for some time now. If y'all don't know what FIFA ranking is, it's a system used by FIFA, the organizer of international football, to rank nations from across the world, where the number one spot is reserved to the best nation according to the FIFA rankings, all the way to the lowest and worst ranking number, 210, San Marino. To those who know football, you know there's no debate why San Marino is ranked in the bottom, where the nation hasn't won a game since 2004 when they defeated Liechtenstein 1-0 in a friendly. And really, ever since this team was established, this team taking L's after every game is the norm. Quite sad, but it is what it is. So now let's talk about the FIFA rankings that were updated recently on the 10th of February. Here you have the top 10 nations ranked 1st to 10th. Belgium on top and the rest follows Brazil, France, Argentina, England, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Denmark, and lastly the Netherlands sitting at 10th. Seeing the ranked top 10 nations, I don't really see any problems except for one nation. And yes, you guessed it is Belgium. You see, pretty much ever since the World Cup 2018, they've always been ranked first place. Sure, you can make an argument that they are a country that gets consistent wins and results, but they never won a trophy to back it up. The problem for me is they haven't won any silverware in the past 4 years to back their FIFA ranking that they are the number one football nation in the world. Despite them having this golden generation, don't get me wrong, I think Belgium is a great team. They have amazing players in Lukaku, the best midfielder in the world, Kevin De Bruyne, as well as having one of their stars, Eden Hazard, who hasn't been the same since he left Chelsea to Real Madrid, but in his day, he's a complete baller. Then their goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois, who's having the best form in La Liga and with Real Madrid. Now, as for the defense line, which I could say is their weakest point, only because their first choice center backs are getting old. Other than that, I admit they have a great team. If we are comparing them to the current France team, yeah, you could say that they have done a better job than France when it comes to the Euro and World Cup qualifications. The French struggled during the Euro qualifications compared to Belgium, who steamrolled their group. In the Euros, as we all know, France got knocked out in round 16 by Switzerland, while Belgium defeated the defending champions Portugal to get to the quarterfinals, where they lost 2-1 to the eventual 2020 Euro champions Italy. After that tournament, Belgium were in the semis of another tournament called the UEFA Nations League, where they had to face the defending World Cup 2018 champions France in the semis, and they lost to them 3-2. In that game, Belgium were leading 2-0 up against the French. That time, I thought they were able to win the Nations League, but these guys bottled the lead and lost to France, who scored 3 goals past them. Very unfortunate, and to rub salt into the wound, Belgium scored a goal that was overturned by VAR and conceded a 90th minute goal from France, putting France into the final against Spain, where France did beat Spain to win the Nations League. Sure, Belgium had won more games and points in the qualification tables than France, but in my book, they haven't won any international titles to be considered the number one nation in the world. Going back to the FIFA rankings chart, looking at top 10 rankings, everyone else seems to be in a fair position. And so let's move on to the nations below the top 10. Now, the main issue I see here is seeing two nations from North America, Mexico and USA, sticking out like a sore thumb, ranked 12th and 13th in the rankings, where oddly enough, Mexico is ranked above the USA, where Mexico legit lost 2 finals to the USA back-to-back, and lost to the USA again for the 3rd time this year in the qualifiers to go to Qatar. Yeah, 2021 wasn't a good year for Mexico. That said, I have issues seeing both the US and Mexico so high in the FIFA rankings. Sure, the USA team has some good young talented players, but I really can't believe the USA being above some of the nations below them, especially with Greg Berhalter as coach. And of course, the same applies to Mexico. Now let me name a few of those nations who are ranked below them. Switzerland is 13th below the USA and Mexico. Wasn't this the same team who helped France to a 3-3 draw and knocked the current World Cup champions and Euro favorites out of the Euros in the round 16? Knowing that, but they topped their World Cup qualifying group, leaving Italy, the Euro 2020 champions, to the playoffs to qualify to Qatar. And while didn't Switzerland beat USA 2-1 in a friendly match last year? Another nation to talk about is Croatia. Being ranked below the USA and Mexico is laughable. Croatia's midfield alone will put USA in the dust, no questions asked. In the other positions other than that, you could compare down to the other countries ahead of them, either USA or Mexico being above Croatia at this moment in time. Then there's Uruguay, who despite playing poorly in the qualifiers and not performing that well in the recent Copa America, this aging team can still put 4 goals behind the net against this Mexican team and give the USA a run for its money. Sweden had a good performance in the Euros, but were a bit lackluster in the last World Cup qualifier games. Even so, I still think this team is more compact than Mexico and USA. Also, there's Senegal, the AFCON champions, in 18th place, which is a solid position for them to be in. That said, I can't really see any CONCACAF nation scoring up to them. Personally, I believe the US men's national team and Mexico should be ranked around the high 20s, low 30s. And then there's Canada, who's ranked 33rd in the rankings, which I believe is a good position for them to be in. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about in this FIFA ranking list, and that is the country of Ecuador, who are ranked 44th. To me, I fully back the Ecuadorians to be higher. I mean, this team is 3rd place in the qualifiers of South America, and yes, they didn't go far in Copa America, and yes, they didn't go far in the Copa America, getting knocked out by the eventual Copa America champions, Argentina. However, I don't get why Colombia are ranked 19 in the rankings, despite their very poor performances after the Copa America. Now, Colombia's case, they did go further in Copa America than Ecuador, where they went all the way to the semifinals and defeated Peru to earn a 3rd place spot after beating them 3-2. However, if you look at all the games Colombia played in Copa America, you'll see that overall it wasn't an amazing tournament for Colombia. In the group stage, they faced Ecuador and won the game 1-0, giving them 3 points as a win. After that game, they faced Venezuela, where they couldn't score 1 goal behind the Venezuelan keeper, which resulted in a 0-0 draw, which gave Colombia a 1 point as a result. After that, they suffered a defeat against Peru, losing 2-1. And finally, the last group match, they faced Brazil, losing 2-1 as well. Although the match against Brazil was complete BS because of the referee. And honestly, Colombia did deserve to earn at least a result in that game, but it is what it is. Despite those dreadful performances and results, they went through the first knockout round against Uruguay. They managed to take the game to penalties and won the game on penalties to help them advance to the semifinals against Argentina. In the semifinals, the Colombians did play a good game and drew the game 1-1 in full time, which meant it had to be resolved on penalties. In this instance, I do have a saying: when a team has gone through penalties twice in a row in the knockout rounds, if you live by the penalties, you gotta expect to die by the penalties. And that's what happened. Colombia lost on penalties. In reality, if you think about it, they managed to get this far through penalties, even though they didn't dominate the group, and were placed 3rd, having gained 4 points in 4 matches, while 2nd place in the table, Peru, played 4 matches and earned 7 points in total. Even though they finished 3rd place in Copa America by some Encanto miracle, FIFA has no backing to put Colombia in 19th place in their rankings when they've played atrocious football throughout the whole qualifying window. According to the FIFA rankings, you're telling me a team who in 16 matches of their qualifiers only managed to get 3 wins, 8 draws, and 5 losses is 19th in the ranking? This Colombian national team, a team that has less wins in the qualifiers than Bolivia, who currently has 4 wins but are below in Colombia in 8th because of a 2-point difference in the qualifying table, yet that deserves to be 19th in the world in the FIFA rankings. This Colombian team, who haven't scored a single goal in the last 7 qualifier matches, and also they couldn't even get a single win in those 7 matches. But according to FIFA, they deserve to be in the top 20s. The only match the Colombians won was a friendly in the beginning of 2022 against Honduras, beating them 2-1. But that's irrelevant because Colombia played their domestic South American players, and to be honest, beating Honduras is nothing to be proud of. And that's not me being a jerk, but literally anyone could beat Honduras because their last win came from beating Grenada 4-0, which happened last year, July 13, 2021, in the Gold Cup. Plus, Honduras are dead last in their World Cup qualifying group with 0 wins so far this whole campaign. Overall, the recent performances from the Colombian national team is not worthy to be ranked among the top 20 footballing nations currently, which is unbelievable for me to say because the Colombians do have good quality players, and I would say Colombia do have a better player depth than the Ecuadorian national team on paper. Realistically, with the players Colombia have, they should be higher in the qualifying table, but throughout the qualifiers they have been toothless in their attack, with the likes of aging stars such as Falcao and James Rodriguez not performing well. I do admit they've been unlucky with injuries and suspensions throughout their games, but that's an obstacle that all teams face and must overcome. In the outside point of view, this Colombian team is cocky and smug, and they don't have the right mentality to perform to their expectations. I don't know for certain if the recent performances had to do with the current manager of Colombia, Rueda. Even so, ranking Colombia as 19th in the FIFA ranking is a total joke. The FIFA ranking system has been a joke for a few years. In fact, Colombia shouldn't even be above Peru who are ranked 22nd in the FIFA ranking, as the Colombian national team just lost to them not so long ago in January. That said, Ecuador being placed in 44th place is disgraceful and disrespectful. In this case, I think the proper placement for these teams will probably have to be switching their positions, having Ecuador in the 19th position, which is fair given their recent performances. The Colombia ranked 44, based on their dreadful performances these past few months. On the topic of FIFA rankings, they can be misleading at times, and yeah, people have their own opinions if they believe their country should be lower, higher, or even claim to be the best nation in the world in football terms. Right now, if I were to pick the best team in the world right now, I would probably say France, because they had great players in their squad like Theo Hernandez, Kante, Griezmann, Mbappe, Benzema. Despite being knocked out early in the Euros, they are still holding World Cup champions and have recently won the UEFA Nations League by beating the likes of Belgium and Spain in the final. Going back to the topic of FIFA rankings, I do believe for most countries they are ranked in good positions, although from time to time in the past we see FIFA being a bit too generous on ranking some nations. Either way, not many football fans really take the FIFA rankings too serious or even care about it. The same applies to me, but I kinda like to clown on it every once in a while whenever I see Belgium ranked first, which has become a new norm, let's be honest. Also, if I did not mention earlier before in the video, I have no hate to the Belgian squad or the whole country as a whole. That said, I don't even think the Belgian fans even consider their golden generation as the best football nation in the world. Even so, I know they're very proud for the team with the amazing amount of talent they have. At the end of the day, it comes to preference and opinion on who are the best football nations in the world, where football fans not only back their countries, but enjoy the beautiful game. And with that, thanks for watching the video, and if you enjoyed the video, please give this video a like. And if you want, consider subscribing to my channel for more commentary content. Follow my socials down in the description. below. See y'all soon on my next video. Hey, everyone, AKIP is leaving the building.